Well, welcome to today's session. Emily and I are super excited to bring this session to you. We're going to be covering off everything you need to be successful this Christmas, and we're going to cover off all the reasons why COVID is going to reshape the way that you work and the campaigns that you plan this year. My name's Kate Knight. I am the Director of Publisher Development. I'm based in the London office normally, as Jason mentioned. I've been with the business since March and actually joined the CJ team on the 23rd of March, which was the first official day of lockdown. So it's been an interesting start, but the team have been really welcoming and already feeling like part of the furniture, which is fantastic.
I am Emily Menny, a Senior Client Development Manager at CJ. I've been with CJ for about 4 years now. I actually started out in the South African office. I moved over about 2.5 years ago to join the London team. And I am the strategic lead for some of the UK's largest programs. And I guess a quick fun fact about me is that I used to have a world ranking for squash.
The sport, right, Em? Or the drink?
The sport, definitely not the drink.
Okay, got it. Cool, let's get going. So we're going to start today's session looking at some consumer considerations. So we're going to be looking at the types of things that our consumers are going to be having to take into account this year when doing their Christmas shopping. This also affects the way that you're going to be planning your campaigns. We're going to be looking at how the season is going to be having a bit of a kickstart, and Emily's going to jump into that a little bit more shortly. Then we are going to share some of our CJ insights with you, so things like category performance and also some ideas around things you should be focusing on, like gifting. And then we're going to end on a great note to make sure that your campaigns all take off with absolute success for Christmas. We're going to be sharing some ideas that have come from our directors on how to make your campaigns really, really strong this year.
Perfect. Thanks, Kate. So with peak season looking slightly different this year, we're going to take a quick look into how peak season is shaping up for 2020 and what consumers are taking into consideration when shopping this peak season. So first off, we're expecting a longer peak season this year. So with Amazon Prime Day occurring in October, and then the growing performance of Singles Day in December, it's going to be a little bit longer. So make sure that you're building out a larger slate of placements opportunities to cover all of these events. E-commerce is going to be a winner this year. So eMarketer expects e-commerce to grow by 14.7% in 2020. And with concerns around COVID and the community spread means that shoppers are probably going to be less likely to line up or go to crowded stores this peak shopping. So don't be scared to utilize your affiliate channel to support fluctuations in both product and location-based demand. And then finally, omnichannel. So the footfall in stores has been noticeably less, or even in some cases non-existent since COVID. McKinsey & Company's research showed that people who research online and then purchase in-store spend more than people who purchase offline or online independently. And 85% of those shoppers also say that they've made an additional purchase when collecting a package in store. So make sure you're utilizing your placements through Q4 to support omnichannel click and collect purchases. We've even seen some retailers look to use underperforming stores as click and collect points through Q4. So what are shoppers taking into consideration this peak season? First and foremost is safety. People are evaluating the risk of shopping this year. So what does the in-store risk look like? And can I find the same experience or discount shopping online? Secondly, the economy. More people in the EU think that their income is going to be reduced for a longer period of time. So this is inevitably going to change the way people shop. So this is going to lead to a more discount-led mindset, especially for discretionary purchases such as clothing and accessories. And then finally, gift selection. Consumers are putting much more thought into gifting this year and what they'll be purchasing for their loved ones, weighing up the delivery and how appropriate the gifts are in a pandemic. So I'm going to hand over to Kate to take you into a bit more detail in those three sections.
Perfect, thank you. So looking at safety first, although before we just speak about that, I just wanted to run you through this stat that we have looking at the e-commerce sales makeup for this Christmas. So UK retail e-commerce sales will account for 27.5% of total sales this year. And that proportion will approach by a third by 2024. So there is no slowdown for online sales, and I think although it's been a really tough year for many people, it's proof that as businesses we need to ensure that we're supporting new advertisers in changing their businesses up to be more online friendly and to really make the best of users as they're not going to in-store anymore. As we've mentioned, in-store is going to be a lot tougher. There's going to be various different things that are going to play into that. Shorter windows of opening times, and fewer in-store deals as they push their focus to online offers only. And there's looking like there's going to be no change to people being encouraged to stay at home this Christmas, which is going to mean more than just changes to the way we shop. The entire gifting experience is going to change. So looking at that, this means an increase on buying online. Click and collect, as Emily mentioned, is going to be at the forefront of people's minds. So businesses that have been changing the way that they allow users to pick up their products are really winning at the moment. I'm sure we've all been there trying to book grocery appointments online to be delivered to our door or to click and collect. And it really has changed the way that we go about our daily routines. And next, we're going to be looking at the spending economics. So we wanted to look at the types of businesses that people were shopping at. So we have all seen that small businesses have been a big winner this year so far. Consumers are wanting to spend their money at more localized businesses and give back to those kind of newer and maybe less established businesses. That doesn't mean that the large companies aren't going to win, but it does mean that some of these more localized businesses are seeing the benefits if the very few that have been up from the COVID situation. And Etsy's done a fantastic job of allowing those businesses to flourish. They've supported small businesses through this entire journey with face masks totaling 133 million sales back in April, having sold 12 million. Which is crazy, and that in itself has become a new product that we're seeing an increase of everywhere we shop. So yeah, it's really about looking at those more localized small businesses, and we have loads of resources on the network can help point you in the direction of some of those brands to give you some steer on the types of advertisers that have been doing well. And then experiential. So the normal gifting situation you might have is not going to be there this year. So it might not be a year of visiting friends and family face to face. This might be something that's delayed into spring even. So for those of you that aren't going to see family, what are you going to be able to gift them? So experiential is really good because it means that you can gift them with something that they can look forward to and use later. If you're like me, maybe you'd look forward to some wine tasting or something like that. Or maybe a subscription to something that you can be used at a later date, such as afternoon tea or something nice that can be enjoyed with a loved one when all this is over. And the nice thing about experiential is that you can buy it now and you can help out a business in the here and now instead of waiting and delaying, and maybe that will be the difference between them having a fantastic Christmas this year. And then self-gifting, which is a personal favourite of mine. I'm very good at it. Spare cash burns a hole in my pocket regularly, much to my other half's disapproval, and I'm very good at treating myself. But this actually has an official term now. So treating yourself is the new thing to do during COVID, and it's been renamed as the lipstick effect. And the most purchased items include work from home wear, luxury goods, including leather handbags and high-end trainers. And then picking the right gift and promoting the right products for you on your sites this Christmas. So if you're looking to target a demographic that have young children, or maybe your consumers are buying for young children during the holidays, the last thing a parent will want right now, I'm sure, is a nice musical toy that's going to drive them crazy, or a drum kit. So maybe think of something a little bit more educational. So twin with the fact that gaming has had a massive uptick this year, there's plenty of incredible educational games out there for young children and families to enjoy together and learn and keep the parents sane. and avoid any family arguments and young children tantrums. So yeah, educational and gaming is something to focus on this Christmas. And subscription gifts, again, this tied in with the experiential, but again, I mentioned the wine. You can also subscribe to weekly, monthly wine subscription, which I think I'm going to be doing to help me get me through this this miserable winter that we probably have coming for us. But yeah, wine's one of them, or maybe a cookery subscription. I don't know if anybody's tried them, but I can highly recommend some, and I think we have some on the network as well we can put you in touch with. And then digital gifts. So if you've got a loved one that can't leave the house, or maybe you're not able to leave the house for health reasons, digital gifts are a really good option too. So if you're like me and you love traveling, how about giving someone the gift of learning a language? It can be sent digitally too, so as I mentioned, super safe and a really great option for those that are a little bit more susceptible to the health problems associated with COVID. And then thoughtful home gifts. So you may have seen Mayo's the background in his house. He has some plants in the house, and I think we also have various CJ team members that have mini oases in their rooms. So how about maybe gifting someone with some plant subscription, or maybe some flowers, or something just to brighten up their homes. And they're a really nice way to send a gift and let someone know that you're thinking of them. And then finally, beauty and self-care. So sales have increased 32% during COVID, and beauty and healthcare products have been a lot more popular with the younger demographic. So people may be looking to spend some of that income that they maybe previously would have spent out with their friends socializing. They've put into health, beauty and self-care, which I think is a really interesting stat.
Perfect. Thanks, Kate. I'm also definitely going to be gifting myself with a wine subscription through Q4.
I think you should.
Definitely will. So in the next section, we're going to take a quick look at some of the category trends that we saw in 2019 and then the predictions for 2020. The holiday 2019 top trends are taken from peak season insights, which are all available on our Junction blog, and we'll be providing a link to that in the chat towards the end of the session. So starting off with clothing and apparel, it wasn't a big performer for us through 2019, and we also expect it to stay fair in 2020. With discretionary spending down, we can expect consumers to look to save more on luxury purchases through Q4. Similarly to clothing and apparel, we expect that the accessories category will continue to perform fair in Q4. As more people are spending time at home, the demand for accessories is expected to decrease in line with this trend. Recreation and leisure is anticipated to perform well this peak season as more people look to staycations, which include camping and hiking, and customers looking to purchase more of this equipment over peak season. We also expect home and garden to perform in line with recreation and leisure as more people are at home and working on DIY projects through this peak season. Art, photos, and music is expected to perform very well through Q4, as many people are picking up hobbies that they can do at home, which will amplify the demand for these products. And as Kate mentioned, there are a lot of niche businesses that we expect to thrive in this sector as people look for kids gifting, lockdown photo books, and family activities to do over peak. The food and drink category is expected to perform exceptionally this peak season. With consumers staying at home, they will continue to order online deliveries. And if you're like me, pre-packed meals that you can make at home. And again, echoing what Kate mentioned earlier, subscription gifting will be key this peak season, increasing performance within this category. So based off the 2019 trends, we predict, firstly, that clients will run more product-led offerings during this peak season, which means that clients are going to be more reactive to what's hot. So be prepared to pivot based on different customer needs. As customers are looking to make their money go further, they will be much savvier this peak season and searching for the best deals. This means a much more competitive landscape amongst advertisers. And finally, clients are planning to be much more targeted this peak season. meeting their customers at the optimal point in their journey and creating a sense of urgency for customers to purchase that may be ahead of Black Friday this year. So planning for success is always important for the affiliate channel, but I think even more important through COVID and beyond. We're going to run through some key points to creating successful partnerships, some action points for Q4, and then some resources available for you for more insights into peak shopping. The uncertainty with peak this year means that flexibility is going to be key for publishers. How publishers work, who they're working with, and the way that they're negotiating with clients. We do predict a larger than normal push for e-commerce this year, which could mean huge opportunities for deeper discounting online. The demand for promotional opportunity will also make it much more competitive this year, so get those placements booked in early. And take a little bit of extra time to understand your clients' capabilities and be prepared to shift as their priorities will inevitably shift through peak. As peak is approaching, many clients are facing tightened budgets, which in turn will create a greater need for transparency from publishers. Investment is going to be highly scrutinized, and ROI is going to be a key factor within the affiliate space. Clients want to ensure that they are getting value for the money that they're spending. So we recommend that you get comfortable with forecasting and showcasing value, as many more clients are going to need guidance on expected performance over peak season. So we think providing them with some form of forecast is going to be a great step to creating value. 2020 has been a challenging year thus far, and we expect Q4 to be no exception to this. So we think that it's really important that you start to build relationships with your clients over this peak season. Creating trust comes in various ways, but one of the ways that I've found personally successful is to provide examples and case studies for clients that appeal to their KPIs. Although in Q4 and peak season this year, you'll need to be prepared to work to new KPIs, as clients might have different targets as the economy starts to find its feet again. Be open and transparent, and just remember that it is a two-way partnership, so you might not be right for every client, and every client might not be right for you. And then finally, thinking long-term, which I think is one of the most important things to remember this peak season. Don't forget your relationships. The affiliate industry is built on a foundation of this. So now is not the time to be short-sighted about commercials. You've got to look past COVID and continue to build those long-term relationships. Don't focus just on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Your clients are going to be looking for recovery well beyond these normal key dates. And as travel still has a lot of recovering to do, and with the government changing guidelines daily, travel brands are having to be extremely reactive to this. So look to support and pivot in line with these brands' needs. And not all your incredible ideas and campaign suggestions will be possible this year. We're entering into an unknown peak season. And on a personal note, I really do love to hear about the incredible out-of-the-box ideas. So definitely bank them for a later date and pitch them in a steadier market once you've built those strong relationships.
Awesome, thanks so much, that was fantastic. And I think what's great about that is Emily's on our client development team, so she is at the forefront of these initiatives and ideas. So make sure if you're uncertain of what you need to do this year to get yourself ahead of the game, she's readily available to speak with you one-on-one and give you some more one-on-one tips to making your campaigns successful. But just to summarize on everything that Emily and I have touched upon, we just wanted to create some action points for you to kind of think about and to go away and make sure that you're on the road to success for Q4. So we started looking at how the sales period is going to change this year and the way that discounts and offers are going to be put out and promoted with our partners. And just some insight into the way that our advertisers are going to be changing the way that they're planning their campaigns. So what we need to do is recognize that there's a new reality for our users and consumers, and the way that they spend their money is going to be very different. So we looked at the fact that the Singles Day is going to be prevalent this year, and Amazon Prime Day, along with Cyber Weekend and the Christmas sales, they may be prolonged even into the new year, just to try and capture some of that extra traffic. So it's really important that we understand that our users are going to be looking for more deals, better offers, and for a longer period of time. When planning your campaign, we also, Emily just touched on this a moment ago, we wanted to reiterate the 3 things that we think are hugely valuable. Being agile, being transparent, and creating value. Now what this means is that we are taking note of the fact that our normal way of working may not be the standard this year. We're going to have to be a lot more flexible. Look at those campaigns and tweak them slightly, and pivot our thoughts and our forecasting, and change the way we're kind of used to working. It's also about transparency, so making sure that we're keeping up regular communication with your team at CJ or your advertiser, and just having those conversations and making sure that everything's on track with your campaign before it's gone live and during the time it's running. Just keep in touch with everyone that you're working with, so that they know that everything's running to plan. And create value. So Emily touched on this. This is about making sure that we're following up with reporting, following up with your forecasting, your predictions for campaigns, even after they're done, as I mentioned. And utilize your CJ team for resources, finally. So some publishers on the network are managed, and others are unmanaged. So we have various different resources to be able to help you be successful this Christmas. If you haven't already been aware of this functionality, this is our Junction. This is the place you can go to find out lots of information on reports and insights, industry news, strategy and best practice as well. And we keep this updated regularly, and we've got loads of fantastic information on there at the moment. I'm going to make a note of the Holiday Intelligence Report, which we've just released. This should be going into the chat, so you should be able to find this there. If not, you can check it out later when we follow up with all the decks. If you have any questions on this, or would like to kind of speak with us and run through the Junction in more detail, just let us know. We'll be happy to do this for you. We also have some additional resources as well. So there's some fantastic articles that come from not just the UK, but our global teams as well, because we know that some of our publishers are not just UK or European, some have a worldwide footprint. So there's some fantastic insights from around the world as well. But from Emily and I, we just want to say thank you very much for tuning in today and listening to our session. If you have any questions, we'd love to spend some more time with you and run through any concerns or thoughts, or just pass your ideas by us. But thank you very much.